Hello, welcome in this video. In this video, we will build and deploy the Backend API with Next.js, Drizzle ORM, Neon database. Here it is the link of our API. We will see the CRUD operation. We will create, we will read, we will update, and we will delete. If I use my Postman tool, I can read a to-do, the list of my to-do. Okay, I have my all to-do. I can post. I can delete. So let's try to delete a to-do with a number 3. Okay, I don't have my to-do with a VID 3. I can update a to-do. Let's try to update a to-do with a VID 4. If I try to read, yes, okay, I have my test. I can toggle my to-do, true or false. So here, I toggle my to-do on true, and I can also try to toggle on false. If I try to read my all to-do, I see false. In this video, we will use Drizzle. Why Drizzle? Drizzle is ORM, TypeScript ORM, and it is very easy, simple to write the request with Drizzle. If you like SQL, you like Drizzle. We will use also Neon database to save our data online with Neon database. So if you don't have Neon account, you can sign up after sign in and create your database after create your table. In this example, I create a table Todofy. So we need not to install Next.js, but if you don't have node.js, if you don't install node.js, it is not possible to install Next.js. So before installing Next.js, okay, please to install Node.js. You can compile just this command and in VS Code, okay, or in your favorite editor code, paste, okay. The name of my project to the file Yes. TypeScript. Okay. Tailwind CSS. App Router. Yes. Turbo Pack. Yes. Okay. Default customize the import by default. Okay. I use by default. And now the process to install Next.js is a starting. So I open my project to the file in VS Code directly, and in my terminal I can write npm. Okay, I can log my project npm running. Okay, Todofy turbo pack. Okay, so I can open this link. Okay, lost. Okay, so I have my landing page, a Next.js landing page by default. Right. So now we need to install Drizzle. So with Drizzle, it will be easy to write our Postgres, our SQL request. It will be very, very easy. So, and we can connect the many database with Drizzle. Let's start now to install Drizzle and open a new terminal, always in my VS Code, and npm. Okay, npm install Drizzle ORM. Okay. So we need now to install Drizzle git npm install. Okay, developer mode install Drizzle. Okay. So Drizzle will will help will help uh, will help us to write easily Postgres SQL or SQL request. The next step now is to install Neon database serverless. So I can write npm. Okay, install database. Okay, serverless. So go to Neon database. Okay, sign in and sign up. Okay, we will use this connection method option, connection option, to connect our application, our project with Neon database. Okay, so now my installation is over. Okay, and the next step now, I need to install a package to manage my variable environment. So npm install intent and such as after we will see, but it is very, very important. okay, to install a package to manage variable environment. Okay, great. So now now in in the main of our project, okay, you can create the folder db folder. After create a file drizzle TypeScript, okay, and now import conf, config from dot env, okay, import also import also drizzle import drizzle from drizzle neo orm, okay. We'll use this package of a drizzle orm neo, okay, neo. So it is drizzle orm after neo http, okay. So we define config a path, okay, a path. So use env, okay, local. After now export const db, okay. So drizzle, okay, process, okay, env I can complete kill database database URL, okay. So import it. So here we don't need to write lockable, okay. If you use just env, okay, the file environment file of env, the path is, okay, this path. So .env, okay, can detect automatically. Great. So I can save just, and here we define the path of our environment variable, okay. So I can create just a file in the main folder, the main directory, okay, the file, okay, env local, okay, and I can define the address of my database URL, database URL, okay, and I can pass the address. So if I open a dashboard of Neon database, okay, I can click just on connect, okay, okay, click just on connect, and you can copy directly. Yes, you can copy directly equal this address, okay, and you copy, and here you can pass directly your URL in your file. Great. And a next step now, we can define a model of our table. Okay. So in this folder DB, okay, let's start to create a folder schema to define schema file to define a model of our table. So for our to-do apps, we needed to have three elements. First, we needed to have a test. Okay, so a test, a test, a test of our to-do. After, we needed to have a another variable done, okay, to know if this to do is done or not, okay, necessary. And finally now we needed to have the ID, okay, we needed to have the primary key as the ID in auto increment. Very, very important. Okay. And if, for example, it is the first, for example, it is the first to do. Okay. We we can have the ID. Okay. The ID just for example, okay, ID, and the first ID will be automatically created by PostgreSQL, by a Neon database. Okay, the first ID will be maybe one. Okay, and after we can specify a test of our to do, and the test of our to do will be create e-commerce app. Okay, just for example, and a a third a third a third variable will be the boolean variable true or false. Okay, and by default, if this variable will be false. Okay, will be false if the users this to do is not done. Okay, it will be false. Okay, but when this first to do will be done, okay, we can specify true. Okay, so it will be the structure of the organization of our database. Okay, so here now I can import. Okay, import just import serial. Okay, because with Drizzle ORM, if we needed to have the ID as a auto increment. Okay, we need to import serial. Okay, after test. Okay, test. After boolean, it is boolean, and after Postgres table. Okay, as a PG table. Okay, and we can import this thing from Drizzle ORM. Okay, PostgreSQL core. Okay, great. So now I can import my schema, import const to do. Okay, and the reference is a PostgreSQL table, PG table. Okay, as also to do. Okay, and I can specify now a, a variable. So ID, it's a ID. Okay, serial. Okay, to have auto increment. Okay, serial. Okay, column ID. Okay, and primary key. So primary key. Okay, to have the ID as the number. After we have a test. Okay, and our test will be, we use test. Okay, column test. Okay, the test of our to do will not be empty. Okay, so I can specify not null, not null. Okay, and finally done. Done, it's a boolean. Okay, a colon will be done. Okay, and by default this colon, this variable will be false. Okay, and also not null. Okay, so it is the structure of our model, of our database, of our table, the model of our to do table. And finally I can save. Okay, great. So here I have a configuration. Okay, a connection of our Neon database. Here I have the model of my table to do, and the next step now is to set up a Drizzle config. So just I can create a file. I can create just a file, Drizzle. Okay, config. Okay, ts. Okay, so I use always environment variable. So import config from .env. Okay, cool. And import also define config. So define config to write SQL request using Drizzle ORM. So import from Drizzle kit. Okay. So config, okay, a path, okay, path here, a path, okay, a path. If a file is env, okay, and I complete locale. Okay, so I can import my Drizzle setup config. So export default, okay, default config. Okay, so schema, okay. So my schema, the address of my schema is in db directly, db after file schema. Okay, so out, okay, because we will generate the SQL request by by Drizzle ORM out, okay, the out, okay, of this request, of this SQL request, okay, will stay in the file migration, okay, migration. We will see, don't worry. And I specify dialect. Okay, dialect is the type of the database. Okay, is PostgreSQL. Okay, so DB address, DB credentials, DB credentials. Okay, visual process. Okay, env. Okay, data database. Okay, URL. Great, so I can save. And here I have over here import. No, it is not default config. It is defined config. Okay, so here is also export default defined config. Okay, I can save. Okay, I can save. Great. So now I can generate. I can generate. I have my model. Okay, so I can generate now my SQL. Okay, so np ins Drizzle, okay, generate Drizzle kit, and after generate, okay, to generate my table. So my schema, enter. Okay, so I have my folder migration, And if I click, okay, so I have my request, create table to do, the ID of my table, a test of my table. So we will see just it is the SQL. It is the SQL, but just with Drizzle, we have just the good way, the good method to write SQL simply, easily. Okay, great. So now the next step now is to migrate our table on Neon database. So I don't have a table, but here I have a database to do it. Okay, we create you create your database when you after you log in. Okay, after you log in, you create your database. So you can choose the name that you want, no problem. Okay, you can choose the name that you want, so you can replace just here to do it by Todofy. Okay, very no problem. So I can write just I can write just np inst, okay, drizzle drizzle kit, okay, drizzle kit after migrate and enter. Great. So if I come back on my Neon database and if I click on table, a few minutes, okay, I will see I see my table to do. Okay, to do. I see the ID of my table. Okay, the test column of my table, and also a done column of my table. Great. So now the next step, uh, we have our database. We connect our Neon database with our project. Okay, and now we can write our request. We can create our API. So just in the folder app, okay, we can create the folder API. After this folder creating, we can create the just a file root. So in this file, you can define the root to to list your to do, okay, and also a router to add a to do. To create a backend API, okay, we have four action, four important action. We have the action to create, okay, and with this action we will use the request post. We have the action to read, okay, to read, okay, and we'll use the request get, okay. We have also the action to update, okay, to update, for example, our to do, and with this action we will use a method patch. We have finally the action delete, delete, and we will use the method delete to delete our to-do. Okay, so I can create my to-do. I can read my to-do, so I can list my to-do. I can update my to-do. Okay, and finally I can delete my to-do. Great. So in this code, okay, we will define a method get and also a method post. A method getter to list our to-do and also a method post to add, to create our to-do. Okay. So to start, I can import nest response. Nest response from nest server. Why nest response? Because when you send a request, okay, you you hope to receive the response. Okay, so when you send, okay, you send a request, okay, you send the request, okay, you hope to receive the response. Okay, and in the Next.js we have the special function nest response, okay, to manage this response. Okay, we have also the special function nest request to manage also our request. We will see. Don't worry. Okay, so import nest response. Okay, so after now I import my connection, of my DB. Okay, so import DB from, okay, a default path, of my application. Okay, so after I specify DB, a folder, okay, and I specify a file schema. Okay, I can import also my here I specify is not my schema. I specify the file, my config file of my database, and is Drizzle. Okay, so import now my model, okay, my schema. So import to do, okay, and I can import directly from folder DB my schema. So import directly. And if I see my schema, I export a to do. So import to do, my function to do from schema. Great. So now I can define a function get to read, to list our to do. So export async function, export async function. Okay, the name of my function get. Okay, but here I don't need to specify a type. Okay, try and const data, okay, equal await, okay, db, okay, select select, okay, from table to do. Okay, so Drizzle ORM is very similar of SQL Postgres SQL request. Okay, so to select just all data of our table to do, I can write db. Okay, we import db. Okay, the connection of our database. Okay, select all from table to do. Very simple to use Drizzle. So return, okay, nest response, okay, as a JSON, okay, data. So you return data in a status, okay, all right, 200 to specify all right, to specify our request is good. So but if not, okay, in catch, okay, error, we can catch the error. I just want to have error, okay, in console now, console error, okay. I can write the error. So error to fetch to fetch data to do data, okay. And finally I can say, okay, give me correctly the error. Okay, so return also nest response, like JSON as JSON, and message server error. Okay, and I can specify a status 500. Okay, so I can save. Okay, I can save. So we have our request get to read. Okay, and now we can test. So if you have a Postman tools, we can use Postman tool. So open. You can download a Postman. You can download, just you can search on Google Postman. Okay, after you download, after you create your account, okay, you log in, and now you can test directly in local. Okay, download Postman. Right. So here I create a collection to the file, but we can make together. We can make together a collection is a group to manage your different API route. So by project. So here I have the project to the file. Okay, I have a group to the file, a collection to the file, and in this collection, in this group, I have my all route. Okay, So here it is also another project, another backend project, and also I have another route in this collection. Okay, we can create two together. It is very simple to do it with Postman. So here we can click on create new collection, okay, and you choose blank collection, okay, a blank collection, and here the name of collection I can specify to do file YouTube, okay, to the file YouTube, and here I have add request. I click on add request, okay, and I can copy the address of my app, okay. So this request, the method is get, okay, to read a to-do list. I can specify the name, read 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 to-do to-do list, okay, read a to-do list, okay, and I can pass, okay, localhost, okay. So I can pass, I can write now API, okay. So API, very important, because in my project, okay, I have the folder API, and after I have a file route. So it is not necessary, okay. It's not necessary. You don't need to specify API and after route. No, you specify just API, and Next.js know that, okay. He need to see, okay, the root file, okay, the root file, the main root file in the folder API. Just okay. So now get, and I can click on send. Okay, so we have a response 200. Okay, all right. Okay, but we don't see anything. We don't see any data. It is normal, very normal, because when we see our table, we don't have the data. We don't have a to do. We don't have a data. We don't have a to do. But it works. Our record is work. So now I can add now a new request. So add a request, okay, and here now it will be post request, okay, and here create to do, create to do. Okay, great. So in my root file, okay, I can define now a function to create a to do. So here I can write export, also export. So also async function, async function, okay, the name, okay, the type post, okay, and here I specify break as a request, okay, and I use a request type of a Next.js, okay. I use a request type of Next.js. I can use also Nest request, okay. No problem. It will be works. So here try. try, and in my try, okay, const body, okay, a body of my request, okay, so await, okay, rec, okay, JSON, okay. So I send, okay, I send a a to do as like JSON. So const, I define now const test, okay, const test, okay, contain my body, and if if uh, if we don't specify a test, okay, I can return directly next response, okay, JSON, okay, message message on the undefined field, undefined field, and status for Android. So status for Android. Okay. So here I have the syntax error. Okay. Okay. So if I delete, I have just a syntax error. I think that if I okay try, and here I needed to have a catch. Try, here I can specify catch. Okay, I can save. Okay, so okay, so if we don't specify a test, okay, we return directly this message, this error. But if we have a test, we specify a test. So await db, okay, we can insert now. We can insert now our to-do tests in our database. So await db, okay, insert in our table to do, okay, and a value uh, will be our test, our test, okay, will be our test, and we can return next response, okay, JSON, okay, and I can copy directly this thing, and after I can customize. So but here it works, it works, right? Yes, it works. And message will be will be to do. We add correctly to do, so to do did. Okay, and the response will be as a status to 201. Okay, or we can specify just 200. Okay, no problem. But if we have the if we have the error in our catch, we can specify this error. Okay, console 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 error console error. Okay, post error post error. Okay, error to add error to post the a to do, and we return also return next response JSON. Okay, so message error server error server error, and I can add a status 500. Okay, so here we have the error here just because we needed to limit our verification. We need to limit our verification just here. Okay, just here. So I can delete, and here now I can close. Okay, so if we don't have a test, okay, we return directly just result. But if we have a test, okay, with DB connection of our database, insert in a table to do a value test. Okay, and if I see my schema, okay, I will see the ID in auto increment serial. A test, okay, a test is necessary. Okay, and done by default false. By default is false and is not null. So it's not necessary to define here. It is not necessary to define here a variable done. No, because if I see my schema, okay, by default done will be false. Okay, will be false. We will manage a colon tone. Okay, but here we don't need, because just by default is false. So when we save a test, okay, when we save a test without without a done, okay, done will be automatically false in our table. We can test. So all right, and in Postman, create a to do post. I can copy directly the address of my API. Okay, lost API post. So here in my body, okay, row JSON, and here now test. I can specify test. Okay, and test will be create just as like example, create e-commerce. Okay, so if I click on send to do adding. Okay, so all right, and we have also um, request successful. Okay, so all right, so we can test now. We can test now in our table. So if I click overview, I click again table. Good. I have my ID. Okay, auto increment serial, my test create e-commerce, and I have also my colon, my data done as false by default. Okay. In this step of our video, we will add the root, delete, and the root patch. So to delete a to-do and to update a to-do, we need to do this action by the ID, okay? So you can create the folder with this annotation ID, very important to work. Okay. The ID in I can create now the file root. Okay, so this structure Nest backend, yes, Next.js know that, okay, this root, okay, is defined by ID. Great. So I can I can import I can import the connection of my database, Neon database. So import db. So from folder db after Drizzle, I can import also equal, import equal from Drizzle ORM. We will see I can import now my model, my schema, import Todo from db, from folder db after from file schema. Okay, so I can import, okay, nest request. Okay, we can see now how to use nest request, nest response, from nest server. So my root delete export assign function, delete, okay, request, and we type I use request. After now, I can define params, very important because we delete the to do by ID. Okay, we need to define the params. Find that okay, this param is the ID. So I define const ID. Okay, ID will be a number. Okay, params ID. Okay, so in this variable the ID, okay, we catch the ID in params, so params ID, okay, and we define as a number. So if is not number, okay, if is not a number, okay, I specify ID. I can return next next response, okay, JSON as JSON, error invalid ID, invalid ID, okay, and we can return a status. Okay, so we can we can select now, okay, we can select now the ID in our params, okay, we can check this ID. So const current ID is so await connection of my DB, await DB, okay, and select in my table, okay, all my table to do, okay, where we see that it is very simple to write SQL request with a Drizzle ORM. Very simple. Where, okay, so where to do ID is params ID, okay, so where to do ID is equal params ID, so I can define equal, okay, equal. I can use this equal from Drizzle ORM, okay, so equal now to do ID, okay, to do ID in my schema to do equal equal ID, my the ID in my params, okay, so I can limit one first result, okay, so I check now my ID, okay, I verify if the ID in my params it is available in in my table to do in my database. Okay. So const, I can define const existing to do, const existing to do. Okay. Current 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 zero, current ID zero, because this will return, okay, a table, the array, okay. Current ID will return the array, okay. So we need to select the first element of this array. So, okay, current ID zero, okay. And if if not existing to do, okay, if not existing to do, I can return now, return next response, okay, JSON error to do not found, okay, to do not found, okay. And I can define status for 104, okay, great, okay. But if, all right, if is existing to do, okay, I send now my request await, okay, connection with my database, okay, delete, okay. So, and we want to delete the in the table to do, okay, where okay, where params id equal to do id in my table, okay. So here is where, okay, where to do id, okay, where to do id equal my parameter id. So here I can write just equal, okay, where to do, id, okay, equal to do id in my table equal the id in my params id, okay, okay. So and after I can return a response, return next response, okay, as JSON, like JSON message so to do, okay, dilated, and I can define just status to 200, okay, okay, okay. So we can test. We can test. I save, and if I come back in my Postman, okay, to do file YouTube, I can add a new request. This request, okay, the name will be till delete to do. Okay, the type of my request delete. Okay, and the address of my API HTTP localhost localhost and for 3000. Okay, API API. So here I have just this route, okay, localhost slash API, because my route is in the main of my folder API. So here I define just the address after just API. But in this route delete, okay, we have a, a file. We define a route by ID of a, yes, by ID of a to do. Okay, it will be the same thing if it is by ID of the user. Here it is by ID of the to do. So here API, okay, ID. So I specify ID. Okay, so and in this folder I can execute now my request delete. Okay, so we define by ID. So here I need to specify, okay, the ID. Okay, here ID will must be a number. ID must be a number. So root get send my request. Okay, could not send the request. Okay, I need to execute npm on there, execute my server. Okay, send. Wait a few minutes because okay, get API. Okay, response good. Okay, so we have my ID, a test, and done false. Good. And also if I see my my neon database, I select table. Okay, all right, and we can delete this this line, okay, this object, this to do. So delete. Okay, here I specify the ID. Okay, we have as ID 1. Okay, so I specify the ID, and yes, I can I can send my request. So send. Yeah, we have a good response. Okay, request successful, message to do delighted. Okay, we execute this we execute this code. Okay, so uh, if I try to get my to do, okay, I don't have uh, I don't have anything normal because I have just one to do, and here I delete my to do. I can see my database. If I refresh, yes, okay. So my to do is deleting. Okay, right. So I can create another to do as post. Okay, looking lost API to do create e-commerce app. I can write create another to do. Okay, so I can send. Okay, I add correctly my to do, and if I try to get, I have my to do. Okay, if I see now my database, I refresh my table. Okay, create another to do. All right. So now the next step now is to create a router to update my to do. So it will be the same thing. So export assign function. Here we will use a method patch. So patch export function. Okay, patch. Okay, all right. Okay, a type. I can use here next next request. Okay, so as as param as params now params id. So const test equal await await. All right, JSON. We receive a data as the JSON, and now if we wanted to update a data, we can send this another data always as the JSON also. Okay, and const id number params id. Okay, because we will define in in our params the id, and this id will be a number. Okay, so here now we can use the id of the to do. Okay, to delete, to update our to do by his id. Very important to update by id. Okay, So the user can update just, okay, the to do by his ID, not all to do, just one to do by his ID. Okay, constant ID number params ID. Great. So same thing if ID is not a number. Okay, or if a type of test is not a string, because the to do is a test. So if of a type of the test is not a string, we can return automatically next response, next response JSON error. Okay, invalid input, invalid input. Okay, status for Android. Okay, I can see. But if all right, we can check now. We can check now our ID. Yes, very very important. We can check now this ID, the ID of our user, the ID of our to do in our table, in our database. So I can write directly. I can copy in here. I can paste. So it is the same thing. Const current ID. Okay, away db select from my table to do, where to do ID equal this ID. Okay, this ID. And if all right now, okay, I wanted to select the first element of this URL. And if is not existing to do, okay, we can return, okay, to do not found. But if all right, okay, await, we can update now our to do. So update this to do await. Okay, update. Here very simple to use Drizzle db update. Okay, update what update my table to do. Okay, and what colon. Okay, update. Okay, set colon test. Okay, set column test. Okay, and the condition is where my to do, my ID, the ID in my table to do equal the ID of our user. Okay, so where equal before equal to do ID in my table. Okay, equal the ID in my params. Okay, so finally I can return next response like JSON. Okay, success to do update. Okay, and a status true Android. Okay, I can save. Okay, so here, so this import is automatically by VS Code. I don't name. I can delete. Okay, so I have my root delete. I have my root patch to update. Okay, so now we can test, and I can try to get my all to do. Okay, so I have just one to do in my table. Okay, I have just one to do. Here it is the, yes, the request to delete. So I needed to create another request. I need to add another request. Okay, patch. I can copy directly the address of my API. Okay, so in my, yes, in my table, in my database, okay, my ID is a 2. Okay, my ID is 2. So the ID is 2. I needed to update a to do. Okay, where the ID is 2. Okay, so in my body, as a row in my body, I needed to send a test as a JSON test. Okay, so here my test is create another to do, and the test will be create another or update update another to do. Okay, so we can try. If I click on send, success to do update. Okay, and I have request successful. Okay, so yes, here also all right page. And if I check in my table, my database, refresh, update another to do. Okay, go now. So and if I try to define in my params, okay, the ID does not available in my table. I try to update a to do with a this ID, okay, but this ID it is not available. Okay, we deleted this ID, but to try just, okay, so same. Okay, to do not found. Okay, so and if I try to delete this to do with the ID 1, okay, the ID not available, send to do not found. Okay, so if I here I have create another to do, I try to read my the all to do in my table, my database. Okay, update another to do. Okay, done false. Great. So we have and I can try to create another to do. So this another to do will be the next step now is to toggle the to toggle this column done. Okay, to toggle in true or false. Okay, so I can try to create another to do, and the test will be okay. Add a route to to update. Add a route to update a column done. A column done in in my table in our table to do in our new database. Okay, so create. Okay, I create successful my to do. Okay, and now if I try to read my all to do, I have my to do. Okay, I have my to do. Yes, and yes, I can try to delete my this to do, my to do with the ID too. Okay, and I specify the ID of my to do. Same. Okay, I deleted successfully my to do. I try. Okay, I have just one to do the ID 3 and the test in Edon is false. Okay, okay. So and also I can try to update my to do. I can copy directly, just update a route. Okay, send to do update successfully. So I can try now to get my to do, and the test of my to do is successfully updated. Okay, so let's start now to add a request to update if the to do is done or not. In this step of our video, we will add a route to update a column tone, to update this column. We can create a folder. Let's create a folder toggle in folder API. Create a folder toggle. Okay, and create also a folder ID, because we can manage. We needed to manage this column by the ID, the params ID. Okay, finally now we can create a route, a file route. Okay, great. So import nest request. Okay, I needed to import also nest response from nest server. Import my connection of my DB Neon DB. So import also my table, my schema to do. So import to do, and import also equal from Drizzle ORM. Okay, so it is not e yes. Okay, great. So the action is update action. Okay, and I can use a method, yes, a method path export async function. Okay, so path patch patch and request a type of my request. I use nest request of nest server. Okay, so I can define my params. Okay, my params will be the ID. Okay, the ID of my to do, and the type of this ID I can specify also. Okay, and okay, define now const ID. Okay, equal number. Okay, number params ID. Okay, number, here we define the ID as a string. So here we convert in number our ID. Okay, so simple verification, if is not a number. Okay, if this ID is not a number, I can return nest response. Okay, in JSON error. Okay, invalid ID, invalid ID. Okay, and I can add a status for Android. Okay, great. So now I can I can verify. Okay, I can select, okay, a column, a column that the user want to update. Okay, I can specify a row, okay, using the ID, okay, and const. I can define a same thing. For example, here, okay, const. I can copy directly. I copy directly, and here now I can paste. Okay, so const current ID, okay, db select from my table to do where, okay, to do id equal id in my params existing to do, okay, current id 0 because uh, here we return the array, okay. So here we take the first element of our array, and if not existing to do, so if, okay, the id in my to do in my to do, the id in my table to do is not equal the id in the user params, okay, so uh, I can return to do not found, okay. It's very the same thing. But if all right, await db update to do set, and here we can set a colon done. We can set this colon, okay, true, false, or true, okay. So await update to do set, okay, set, and I can set, okay. So I set a colon done, okay, done, not existing to do, okay, done, and I can complete where, okay, where the id is equal my my table uh, my table id. So where to do id equal params id, okay. So I can save. So okay, so here I define I take, okay, a first element, okay. So this first element will be my array, okay. This first element will be this array with the id, with the test, and also with a boolean done. Great. And after I select my element, my element in my table, after I select the array, this row, it is this row. After I select this row in my table, okay, I can set, okay, a colon, a boolean done, And so I write, okay, update my to-do, okay, set a colon done, not existing to-do done. So if here, if in my array existing to-do is false, okay, not existing to-do done will be true. Or if in my array existing to do is a true, not existing to do done will be false. Okay, great. So here I have automatically import of a VS code. I don't need, I can, I can delete and I save. So now we can try, and I can add a new request. Okay, so I can copy directly, and in my new request, okay, um, update, 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 done list, or toggle, toggle done. Okay, so the method patch I passed, and the address of my API is API folder toggle after the ID. Okay, so here API before the ID, I can specify toggle. Okay, all right. Okay, so I have my method. I think that all right. API toggle the ID. Okay, and in my table, I can I can refresh. Okay, in my table, I have the ID, the ID free, and um, is this to do done is false. Okay, so the user um, does not validate. Okay, does not this to do is not over. Okay, is not over by our user just. Okay, so is not over. So I want now to toggle to false by true. Okay, so here is false, and now if I click on send, okay, success to do update. So and if I see my database, I refresh, okay, true, because in my code I specify done, okay, update to do, okay, update my the row, okay, in my table to do, and a colon done will be not existing to do done. So if my colon, if the line, if the row, okay, yes, if the to do is false, it will be true, and if is true, it will be false. Okay, here it's true, and if I toggle, I toggle again my to do, okay, it will be false. I refresh, false. Okay, so all right. So to do to do update. So to do, yes, to do, okay, colon done update successfully. Okay, so I can see. So I have all root of my application of our application. We have a root to list all to do. We have a root to add a to do. Okay. Here we have a root to delete a to do by his ID. And here we have a root to update a to do by his ID also. Finally, here toggle to do, we have a root to update if the user this to do is over or not. Okay, so I can test all route. I can test all route. So here to list all route. Okay. Okay. So I have my alone route, create route. So here I can add a route. So add a route. Okay. Add just a second to do. Add just a second to do. Okay. So same. Okay. So if I try now to list my to do, yes, I have my second to do. Great. And also delete. Okay, we can try to delete. I can add a further to do. So add a third further to do. Okay, so same. Okay, so here delete to do. A further to do, get all to do. Okay, the ID of my further to do is 5. So I can delete by ID. Okay, 5. Okay, same. Okay, so if I refresh my database, okay, great. And here we update a route. So update I can click on get. I will have just two to do. Okay, so I can update my first to do. So here update. Okay, update a first to do. Okay, so send. Okay, to do update, I refresh update. Okay, in neon table, all right, also, and to girl. Okay, all to do is not done. Okay, and I specify the ID. Okay, the ID. I specify the ID and send. Okay, I have error to do not found. Okay, normal. It is not 5, it is a 4. So here 4. send now. Okay, to do colon done update successfully. Okay, so if I see my neon database table, true. Okay, so we have a CRUD route. Okay, so we can read, we can add a to do. Okay, we can delete. Okay, we can update also. We can update also. So we have a full CRUD application. Get to read, post to add, delete to delete, patch to update, and also this patch. Okay, great. So in this step of our video, we will create the documentation, the docs of our apps. So I create just this simple page of the documentation of our API, of our backend API. So before continuing, I want just to change the, the structure of my API. So I can create a new folder to do, okay, and I can place my all routes in this to do folder. Okay, so the address of my API is API to do. Okay, is not now API, is API to do. I can start a server npm on dev. Okay, and so if I do, I send a request with method get. Okay, I have a normal because my address is not now API. Okay, it's changed. The new address of my API is now API to do. Okay, so if I make API to do and I send, great. I have my to do post. Okay, I can post. Okay, I change it to do again. Okay, if I click on send, okay, so and if I try to get, okay, so I change just my structure, the address of my API. Okay, so uh, to to build this interface, okay, I can use DaisyUI. It will be very easy, simple, speed. Okay, so on DaisyUI, I can click on install. Yes, yes, docs. Okay, install. Okay, so npm. Okay, so I click and open new terminal. Okay, I need just to wait for a few minutes. Great. So after I can add a plugin DaisyUI, I can add DaisyUI on my apps, and I want also to add directly a theme to customize my apps. So we can use this theme. Okay, so if I click on theme, okay, so I need just to copy and in my global CSS, okay, I can pass just and I can change. Okay, my default theme is now Lofi. Okay, so I save. Okay, so we can test if it works. If I try with button. Okay, so button color primary for the file theme is this button. Or I can copy directly. Okay, I copy directly, and in my page I can replace by DaisyUI button. Okay, and if I save and if I see my apps. Okay, okay, I have my team. I have my team as here. Okay, great. All right. So I don't need. I can delete. Okay, I save. I can delete also image import. Okay, so I can create a folder component. Okay, and I can add a navbar navbar t, yes, type, sorry. Okay, so export default component, export default function before navbar. Okay, and return. So I can use also DaisyUI navbar. Okay, okay, so I can use this navbar. Okay, this navbar, and after we will customize. Okay, so I copy, and here I can paste. I say I can use directly. I can insert directly my navbar in my page. I save, and if I see, okay, I have my navbar. Okay, so let's start to customize navbar. And okay, vn navbar n. Okay, I have a search icon and also notification icon. So I can delete this icon, this button. Okay, these two button I delete. Okay, and I can use a button of a DaisyUI to have this button primary. So we can modify. So here I have button just. I can do a same thing, but I can use a link ref. Okay, class name btn. Okay, I use btn primary, and a test will be, okay, contact me. If I save, okay, I have my button. I have here the icon, so I can use le CA du React to install this icon. So copy, okay, and after install, I can search also GitHub icon from the seed React, GitHub, yes, GitHub, okay. So copy and just before my button, I can, yes, I can pass, I can import also automatically my icon from Lucid Real. I can add mail to, and my address name. Okay, here is 8. I say, so now I can import. Now it is possible to import. Okay, and when I save, okay, so I can add a space here, just class name margin right 4. Okay, save. Okay, great. I can change a name, so Todofy. Todofy. Okay, great. Okay, great. So after now, I need to have this component from DaisyUI. I can search a car. Okay, so we have many type of this component. Okay, I will use just this type. Yes, and I can copy just, okay, a first example, and let's start to create another component. The name will be doc. Okay, so export default function doc and return. Okay, so I can pass, yes, I can pass my first example, and if I see a result, okay, I need to import in my page. So here, return doc. Okay, so I need to define a div. Okay, div class name container margin padding 4, margin top 4. Okay, I save. Okay, so I have my screen, my result. Okay, so we need just to replace the the test. Okay, so here use your API client. Okay, so the title, use your API client. Okay, and here, so I have we have many API client. Okay, we have Postman, we have apps, yes, upscotch, we have insomnia. So you have a choice. So it's just for example. So paragraph, okay, and I can use a list, a tailwind. So ul class name list, list at disk, margin left 8. Okay, so a list now. Okay, so if else I can copy, and here I use a link. I can paste a link. Okay, I can add a class name link, class name for DaisyUI, link after link, and primary. Okay, I save. Okay, so I have my result, a good result. So I can copy also. I can copy also the same thing, and here I can paste. Okay, so the second result, a second result. I needed to to have here another list. Okay, so here list, and now I can pass. Okay, if I pass, okay, I have my a good result, and a second, it just for example. Okay, just for example. Okay, and we can pass. Okay, so I have my result. Okay, so a second step now is for to create a to-do list. So I can copy also a same thing, and I copy also a same thing, and here now I can paste. So I have GS ins must have one parent element normal. Okay, so I use my div. I use my class name. Okay, container margin padding and margin top 4. Okay, so I have my parent element in the here now. Okay, and here, okay, so is create to do list. Okay, so create to do list, and here, okay, send request. So in the content, I use just a paragraph, send request. Okay, and after I can use a list again. So you yes, and I use as a class name, class name, I use list disk, okay, margin left 8, okay, and after now, here I use my list, and my first list is, okay, method post, we use method post to create a list, okay, and after now, I define a URL to send this method post. When we will deploy our apps on Vercel, okay, we will modify this URL. Okay, we modify this URL. Okay, so URL. Okay, so I define a URL. I define a URL, and to have a URL as link, I can define just a ref. Okay, and also class name link after link primary. Okay, I save. Okay, so I have my result. So another link, JSON JSON params, and I can adjust another list. Okay, JSON params, and to define JSON params, here we use a DaisyUI code just, and we can search code. Okay, so I will use just this thing. I copy, and here I passed. So when I passed, I can modify just a test. Okay, okay, to have a content as a JSON. Okay, test. Okay, um, hello world. Just for example, hello world. Okay, if I save, and if I see the result, okay, so I have my result. Okay, so we have create to-do list. We need to have also read to-do list. So read to-do list, it will be the same thing as use your API client. So I can, yes, I can copy just, okay, I copy just, okay, and here I modify. Here is read to do, read a to-do list, okay, and so read to-do list, okay, we send the a request, define a paragraph, send request, and after method get, And after I define the URL to use to send a request. Okay, here we have a local URL, but when we will define, we will deploy, we will have the online URL, a Vercel URL, and we can use, yes, we can replace just. So here send, yes, send a request. So method get, and after I define a URL. So send request, and a first list is method get, okay, and method get URL, okay. And if I see the result, okay, I have a good thing. We need now to have the, yes, a docs to update to-do list, okay. So to update to-do list, I can copy directly this this code. It will be the same thing, okay. So update, yes, update to-do list, and here we have, okay, after to make get, okay, after to do get, send request using your to-do list ID, okay. So here update to-do list, okay, my to-do list ID, and as test I can paste, okay. After now, I define a method, the URL, and finally a parameter, okay. So method patch, here method patch URL we will define, okay, and finally a test. So here I use another test, update my to-do list with my to-do list ID, yes. So we define as a URL your to-do list ID as like as here, okay. And just I modify a test, okay. I can save, and also the URL, but we will modify this URL, or yes, when you deploy your application, yes, your apps on Vercel, modify modify just a link, okay. Great. And if I see, okay, I have create read update, okay. So I have also another request. This request is toggle to do list, yes, toggle to do list, because here now toggle to do list to make if our to do is done or not, okay. So toggle to do list is, I can use this example to make this result, okay. So here I can copy directly, and after my update, yes, after my update I place toggle to the list, and here I can make toggle to do list, okay. And a test is, okay, send request using to-do list ID, okay. We need to send a request using to-do list ID, okay. So method, define a method, and here a method method, okay, update, so patch, okay. And URL will be my will be my Vercel deploy link and my to-do list ID. Just okay. Okay. And if I see my result, okay, I have my good result. So finally, I can add delete a to-do list, and it I can copy also directly this thing. Okay, a title will be delete delete send request using your to-do list ID method. Okay, and after URL. So here method will be delete. Okay, so I save. Okay, if I see my apps, okay, I have my toggle to-do list, docs, update, read, create. Okay, okay, great, great. And my is very responsive. Okay, very responsive. Okay, okay. So here now I can add a link to go on my GitHub profile. So if you see this video at the please give me a start on a star. Please give me a star on GitHub. Please to like a video and please give me a start on GitHub. I will be very happy to to um to make another video. Target. If you like my works, okay, please give me a star. Please like this this uh, this video. Okay, thanks. Let's start to deploy our project on Vercel. So on dashboard, on Vercel dashboard, okay, we can click on add new project. Okay, import, and we needed to add the environment variable. So on your file, you can copy directly your environment variable. So after you can pass your environment variable and click on deploy. We needed to wait a few minutes. So I have the error. I have some error. Okay, and it is in my component doc. I come back on my component doc, okay, and okay. So B, okay, escaped with, okay. So kick this, and we will resolve, we will try to resolve this error with a VS Code. So I can use just this thing, okay. So kick this, okay, kick this also here, okay, here, okay. Okay, so here also I have the same error. Okay, so when I click on save and when I refresh my page and when I test, okay, all right, on local, and now I can add a commit, git add, no, it is git, okay, git commit, update, update, doc component, okay, and on my git punch main, git checkout, git checkout main, okay, I can make git merge test, my branch test, and after I can make it push. Okay, wait. So I can test if my deployment is over. Okay, update the component. Okay, and now like try again. Build logs. I think that now every everything will be all right. But if we have error, we will resolve. Okay, so we have again some error, and now it is in our params. Okay, it is in our params. Okay, root params by id is not a valid type of a function second argument. So to resolve this error, if I see a Next.js blog, okay, how to build API. For example, I can define here in our code we have request and we define request as a type. So we can define as a nested request. And no, I can update just okay nested request. Okay. When I save, okay, I can delete and to patch I have next request on another route. On another route, I can update if okay, here we have next request again. Okay, all right. Okay, so I can add a git commit, update, delete route. Okay, finally I can push. Okay, So I come back on Vercel. Okay. On GitHub, update delete route. And on Vercel, I can try to deploy again. So here I have another error filter to compile. Okay, type is not a valid type for the function second argument. Okay, is not a valid type. So if we see again a docs, okay, we can define params, okay, params, okay, ID as as here, okay. So if I copy directly, it is in already in my to do ID route, okay. So in my to do ID route, okay, here, okay. So here now I can replace. So here I have a property id does not exist. Kick face with window with VS Code, okay, and I resolve this error, okay. So here again, I can do a same thing, okay. So I replace and I can I can add, okay. I can save, okay, and I can see another route, okay. Here I can replace again, okay, and here great. Another route again, okay. On this route, all right, on this route, okay. So I can add a comment, okay. Git commit update route, okay, and after git push. So if I test directly on local, if all right, okay, I can read, okay, I can post, okay, I can post again, okay. It is possible to delete. It is possible to delete. I can specify the ID 9. I have the error normal because I needed to specify a good address, a good route, okay, to do after the ID, okay. Send to delete. Okay, I can delete. Okay, so all right. Okay, so now I make my comment on um, on GitHub, and let's start again to deploy. Great, congratulations! We deploy successfully our API. Okay, so continue to dashboard. No preview. Okay, so here, if I click on my domain to do file, okay, so now I have this thing, if I try to open on another browser, this browser use dark mode, okay, but this another use light mode, okay. So okay, my I have my Vercel link, okay, and I can replace directly. So we can try to send a request with our API. So I can copy my 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 link and get. I can replace, okay, and I can try to click on send. Okay, so here is not the correct address. I can make API, okay, API after send, and I forget to do, okay, send. Great, very great. So we have my result. We have my result with the router get. Okay, we yes, we fetch the data. Okay, so after, if I copy, okay, and on my request post, okay, API, my Vercel domain name, API to do, okay, action, add the to do. I add a to do from Vercel domain, okay. I use post, and if I try to click on add, okay, I add my to do, okay, and if I try to get, I have also my to do, okay. I will try to delete the to do with the ID 8, okay. So here I can define the ID, okay, and if I click on send, okay, I delete my to do, great. And if I try to get my to do, okay, I don't see the to do with the ID 8, okay. So here I can update my to do. I update the to do 10. Yes, update a to do 10. Update a, okay. So I click on send. Great. I update successfully my to do. If I try to read, okay, update it to do with over there. So I can try now to update to done my to do. Okay, I specify the ID, and but the address will be to do toggle. I think that is to do toggle. Okay, so to do after toggle after the ID. Okay, so if I click on send, I update the I done successfully my to do. If I try to get, okay, true. Okay, so yes, all right, okay. We have our Vercel domain. We have our docs. Okay, so I can modify splitly my docs. So to create a to do, it is this API address. I copy, and in my VS Code So here I can paste. Okay, start a server. Okay, after read. So to read, it is this API address, API link. I copy and here I can replace again. Okay, update now. Update update the to-do list. Okay, so here I copy the a address in my VS Code. So here I can pass so HTTP and your to do list ID. Okay, you need to define your to do list ID to update with this address to update a to do list. Okay, and now toggle to do list. Okay, so here I copy again and here I can paste. Your to do list ID. Okay, finally delete. So to delete, okay, so here is the address after API after to do. So API after to do after the ID of a to do list. Okay, great. So if I say okay, so I change correctly my my linker request. Okay, delete to do list. Okay, send a to do list. Toggle toggle to do list. Update to do list. Read to do list. Create to do list. Okay, okay, great. I think that also here, okay, here I have homepage, portfolio, about you. If you want, you can add, okay, the link, but um, I can I can change I can change directly this this thing. So I don't have another link, okay, to add this thing. So I want just to change this thing. So here I can copy just this small nav, okay, and nav bar center, okay, vn, and I copy just I can replace and navbar navbar end, okay. I need to add, so navbar end I can add just I can replace, okay, if I save, okay, so I have my navbar, and I can change just the name of my nav to do file, the name of my apps, okay. I save, okay, okay, and I test a responsive if I test, okay, all right, also, okay, yes, so I can complete to Todofy API, okay. So last commit git. So if I see my Vercel deployment, okay, I will see the nav, okay, Todofy API. Okay, I refresh my apps. Okay, all right now. Okay, so here it is just contact me. Okay, I want to manage the component doc. So in the folder component, create a folder docs, and in this folder create a file, create to do, okay, create again a file, read to do, okay. We can create again a file, update to do, a file also toggle to do, and finally a file delete to do. Great. So in the file create to do, I can make export default function create to do return. Okay. So in my component doc, I can copy this code, and here I can paste, I can save. Delete to do. So in my read, read. So I cut and component read export default function read to do return. Okay. So after I have a component update to do. So here update to do export default function update to do. It is to do return, and I can paste. Okay, toggle to do okay. So export default function toggle to do return. I can paste also. Here delete to do export default function delete to do return. I can pass also. Okay, so we have this introduction. Here you use your API client, so I can create another component in a folder docs. I can create a introduction JS. Okay, so export default function introduction. Okay, return, and I can cut, and here now I can replace. Okay, great. Okay, so here I can import a component introduction. After a component create to-do list. Okay, create to-do. After read to do. After update to do. After I think that is toggle to do. Toggle to do. Toggle to do. And finally delete. Delete to do. Okay. And I can import also from docs after my component. Okay, I import, same thing. Okay, great. So I can save. Okay, so if I see my code on local, okay, I have a same thing. Okay, so yes, I can adjust a target on each link. To open a link on another browser tab. Okay, delete to do. So I can copy. Also directly. Introduction. Okay, introduction. I can add also here. Reader to do. Toggle to do. Update to do. Okay, and I refresh just, and if I click, okay, I can open a link on another browser tabs. Reader to do, for example. Okay, create. Okay, so here I have a same link. I can add a good link for Insomnia tool. So it is on introduction component. So here, yes, I can replace just. Okay. Okay. I have a good link.